expect many of you have heard about the amalgamation of Faith, Transfiguration, Grace, and St. John's in Hamilton, now known as Trinity. I'm Karen Bierland, a Congregational Redevelopment Advisor for the Eastern Synod. Pastors Daniela and Thomas Mertz, originally from St. John, Pastoral Editor John Zarentz from Grace, and Council Chairs Michael Schuster and Sparrow Rabideau are here to tell us a bit about their journey. Pastor Loretta, I understand that amalgamation discussions among Eastern Synod congregations in Hamilton have been on and off for years. This round, though, of discovery and discernment over the past 2+ years has led to the successful amalgamation of 4 congregations. What was different this time?
Thanks, Karen. Well, when I arrived at Grace in October of 2005, the Hamilton Lutheran Council, which consisted of the 4 amalgamating congregations, along with the Estonian and Latvian congregations, had been going for years. What was behind our collaboration was the realization by leadership in the congregations that sustainability was becoming increasingly more strained, and that collaboration had many benefits, such as the sharing of resources, a building of relationships, and the opportunity to cooperate in many things. As the years went by, however, offerings, attendance, and participation were dropping in all congregations. So the idea of amalgamation had been tossed around for years, but never taken seriously because all 4 congregations still had some reserves. Then about 10 years ago, attitude and perceptions about sustainability really changed. We looked at our reserves and offerings, and it became quite clear that we would deplete those funds within 5 years or less. We hoped that the sale of our property would signal a new era between congregations in Hamilton. And then almost miraculously, the 4 congregations met in the spring of 2017 and launched this current amalgamation process. What was different this time was the very strong desire to continue a Lutheran presence in Hamilton, that a creative and dynamic response to our situation was critical, and that the same old response of sticking our heads in the sand and thinking more fundraisers like bake sales and garage sales would do the trick. So it's been a long process, actually over 20 years of discussion and discerning between the 4 congregations. But we have been faithful to our calling as faith communities. I am confident that we will be a dynamic congregation here in Hamilton.
Michael, I'm really curious. How did you and other leaders guide the congregation through the decision-making process? It obviously wasn't an easy one. What did you do to keep members engaged and informed?
The first thing that's most important is that we set up a amalgamation working group. This consisted of 3 members from each of the 4 congregations. One of the key first steps was to develop a vision for that group. And so we spent some time developing a logo, if you will, or a self-identity, and it was called, and still used today, One in Christ. That's what we focused on, that we were one in Christ, and that set a sort of a vision around that working group. So our first step was to hire a consultant, and this we did through the help of the Synod. It led to a 2-step process, first being the amalgamation of Transfiguration, St. John's, and Faith on the 1st of April 2020, and then joining of Grace with Trinity on the 1st of July of this year.
Sparrow, I'm really curious. When we think about amalgamating Faith, Grace, Transfiguration, and St. John to form Trinity, why is that important? And perhaps another way to put that is, how is the sum greater than the parts?
First off, we have our exciting news that very soon, as of July 1st, 2021, we will be amalgamating with Trinity Lutheran Church in Hamilton. As you said, why is this important? Trinity was created by the amalgamation on April 1st, 2020 by 3 Lutheran churches in Hamilton, Transfiguration, Faith, and St. John's. So it will be 4 congregations brought together as one. Is it simply a matter of enjoying a large congregation like in days gone by? No, it isn't a numbers game. It is something much more important. In amalgamating, we are bringing together Lutherans of many backgrounds and viewpoints. Also, people with various talents are working together with renewed energy to move Trinity forward with new ideas about not only worship, but how we can help our neighbors in need. And there's a sense of working together to move Trinity into the future. So definitely the sum is greater than the parts.
Pastors Thomas and Daniela, Trinity has been on quite a journey. What do you see Trinity to be in the future? What will that look like?
I think that Trinity has the potential for a very exciting future and for a very meaningful future. Like many Canadian congregations, not the youngest congregation, but this amalgamation process has demonstrated that we are a very vibrant congregation, full of ideas, full of dreams. We have a clear vision as we move forward, and we have a strong mission. The amalgamation process has brought together leadership from 4 different congregations, how they come together, how they share their faith, their inspiration, their wisdom. And that in itself was a huge achievement, and I think it's a huge potential as we move forward. Pandemic has slowed us down in our process, but on the bright side, it has also given us the time that we needed to get that clarity around our vision, what we aspire to be, a congregation that aspires to transform lives through our worship life and through being a learning community, being open to others.
Yes, of course, we are hopeful that with the opening of the lockdown that more things will be done, because we have kind of great plans for our mission. And when we always came together to look at what our 4 congregations all have done so far, we have all 4 of them have a rich history and bring a lot of connections within the different neighborhoods. In many ways, we had the same goals. So Trinity decided to focus on food insecurity and on the poverty that is just a big problem in Hamilton. Seniors will be another focus. Because we already have experience with that work, we will pick it up and bring it with fresh energy to new goals. So this is really exciting, and we're really looking forward to that.
Thank you, Pastors Loretta, Danny, and Thomas, Michael, and Sparrow. Your stories are more than inspirational. They're helpful, they're constructive, and they give us hope for possibilities down the road. And if other congregations might be interested in pursuing the process to consider congregational redevelopment, please don't hesitate to contact me or Pastor Mark Harris. Thank you so much.